Oh, we look so good in black together.
I know. I was literally walking. We saw a black moment, and I was like, "Do we look witchy today?" I feel like we look
Halloween
witchy.
episode. Save this
I miss
for
Halloween.
the October little snippet trailer.
Oh, what a great day we're gonna have! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe.
Good
You're
morning.
joined by your host. My name's Olivia Richardson.
And I'm Kari Vogt.
And before we have a whole episode today, it does have to be cut short today because I have to go to the doctor to make sure I stay healthy, to love
right
and
in
provide
tune with what we were
for
talking
my
about.
family. Which apparently salt, I don't know. We don't have. I don't know how to be healthy. Get your minerals. Eat your minerals. Eat your minerals. Just take handfuls of sea salt. This is what I've gathered. Take a handful of sea salt and just like
That's
a
all you
cow, lick it throughout the day, like a good salt lick. But we were talking just really briefly. 4 eyes, Brian. That's Kari's right here. Be nice. We were talking about how like AI and like how AI just.
You said you wanted AI to host
yes.
it, not plan.
Host. I want AI to plan a
Probably
cafe
could host before
series.
long.
Like I just because I literally was just like, man, we've been doing this show again. We've been celebrating this show for 10 years. There's
awesome.
not a whole lot of topics that we haven't covered at length several times over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just need a fresh set of eyes. Not, no pun intended. I need a fresh keyboard to tell me what I should talk about. So I did.
Fresh robot.
I did. I put it into Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and I was like, here's the cafe, here's our YouTube page, what's the topic? And it spit out a list of 10 things we could talk about. All of them were wonderful. We're talking about none of them. But it did give me the idea of, wouldn't that be fun to do, to have, AI-inspired episodes? Because AI, Kari, I know you hate it.
And I said, don't talk to me about it. Don't have me on that episode. No, I'm just kidding.
But really, though, that is
AI just really scares me.
Okay, Kari, next time it's planned. Next time you and I are hosting a cafe together, I'm going to make it an AI episode.
Okay.
About, how an agent, because there's a lot of conversations right now of
There's one
AI.
thing I like that I am using AI for.
Yeah.
Like the note summaries.
The note summaries are amazing.
I love that. For a phone call.
Yeah.
I like that.
We'll talk about, compliant ways and positive ways to use AI because you said something I can completely agree with. I think it's going to make us really dumb.
For sure.
Because, right now, if I wanted to come up, a creative summary or, I had to make a biography about something or it was whenever, somebody was going to be a speaker and I was like, oh, I'll write them, a little quote about how great of a speaker I think they are so they can include in their stuff. And I was like, I can't creatively. I don't have the creative energy right now.
Yeah.
So you
Copilot just do that, for
and,
sure.
I'm going to be dumber than what I already am because of, and I didn't say more dumber, Alex. I know you were waiting for it. We're not there yet. But so I just,
I mean, there's so many, doctors using it too. And
That's
I'm just
scary.
People use it as a doctor too.
Yeah.
And there's just things that scare me.
There's a lot
And
of things.
if you get on social media, half of what we see isn't even real anymore.
Is not real people. They're
and
bots.
so
However, if you guys know who Jenna Marbles is, do you know Jenna Marbles?
Why do I know who Jenna Marbles is?
Sensation from the era of 2011 to 2017.
Why do I know who she is?
Because she was my spirit animal, and I still live by her
Why
to
do
this
I know
day.
who Jenna Marbles is?
She's a YouTube sensation before YouTube was cool. She was the first YouTube star.
Why
she was
do
the
I know
influencer.
Who that is?
Anyways, I
need to look at her face.
I had Copilot do a Medicare 101 in the essence of Jenna Marbles.
I know who she is.
And it was amazing. That being said, guys, today we are starting.
We're not talking about
Jenna Marbles. We're not talking about AI. That whole story
or salt.
had nothing to do with today's conversation. What we're going to talk about today is actually something I thought was a little spicy.
Oh.
And that's going to be
hit me with it.
How to fire a client.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the who, what, when, why, and where, minus the who and the where of fire.
This is really timely because I almost wanted to yesterday.
It was actually inspired by you.
Yesterday. Oh.
Because this morning, and I was like, what should we talk about today? No, I'm just kidding. These are planned out months in advance. But you said I've been having a lot of...
Did you say minutes or months?
Anyways, she said, I've been having a ton of customer service questions. And I was like, oh my gosh, how do you know when if your hours and hours are being spent with customer service with one customer, at what point is it valid to fire that client? So tell me your experience when you're we want to protect.
Well, for
the
me,
names
I get that. I get the customer service.
That was just the inspiration. Yeah. Tell me
For
your
me,
life.
it's it's just plain rudeness or like anger towards me or my staff. I won't put up with that. Like, he left a very, very mean voice message on our main line. And his wife is my client, and we had been emailing. I told him to call me after noon. He called me in the morning when I was in meetings. But he called the main office. I told him to call my cell phone, and he never called my cell phone.
He just did everything.
And he was just screaming about no one answering. And I just wanted from the get-go to be like, that's not okay.
There's boundaries. The customer is not always right. The customer is always respected, but there are boundaries.
For sure. If his wife was not my client already, and I love her, I probably would have been like, this might not be a good fit.
Yeah. This might not be a good fit. So let's kind of start off with, I kind of want to do like the progression of this. So first I started off like, I put when and why. When should you fire a client, which is also kind of equate forward to like why. Like at what point is it appropriate to fire a client? So you and I are very much on the same page there. I did note that in the beginning, it's very difficult to fire a client because you're getting started. 2 reasons. One, dollar bills. Like you're getting started. Every client's a good client. When it can feel that way. That's not necessarily true, but it can feel that way. Every client's a good client when you're starting out because it adds up, and you want that source of income that comes with having clients, right? That's the only way we make money. I also think that when you're first starting out, you're so worried about your reputation. And these people who tend to be some of the most difficult clients, and I'm going to say difficult. I will come back to clarify that. But these people who tend to be your problem children clients also tend to be some of the most vocal online, like your Karens and your Kevins.
Yep.
Like the haircuts, right? The people. Your Karens and your Kevins tend to be very vocal, so you're really worried about the repercussions of what's going to happen to your reputation if you fire a client or don't go above and beyond. And there is a point, like with a lot of these clients, it's really easy to put that like on yourself, like I'm going to do whatever I can to make the situation better. There are some people you will just simply never please.
Oh, no.
There is nothing that you can do that will make their situation okay. And I think that's how you know when you are with a client that is the case. There is nothing that you can do that is going to bring yourself peace or them peace. That's a time where that's a win and a why. That's a time where it is to move on.
I can think of the one. I really had to fire one, and it was I knew it was time, and I was so happy.
Such a relief. It's such a relief.
I'm so happy.
Well, and one thing that you said was, we talk about the customer's not always respected, the customer's not always right. The customer is always respected, right? So we'll get into conversations about how to show respect in that way towards the end. But one thing that you also have to understand, you demand a respect, and you need to show respect towards your staff. So if you have staff or people like that, I remember whenever I was working, when I was new here, I was working and was actually calling with an agent. And an agent straight up chewed me up, called me every name in the book, called me little girl, sweetheart, and just like called me an idiot, like was literally like tore me to my core. And I remember feeling like I don't know what to do with this. I felt like I know I did nothing wrong. Joanne got on the phone call with that agent and said, here's a full release. We will not work with you again. And I like that my loyalty was bought, sold, paid for from that moment forward. Because I was like, oh, like you have me. I'm protected as a staff person here. So if you're an agent with staff, for them, your staff is somebody it's worth investing in. For sure. When they feel protected. And sometimes it doesn't always mean like,
and a lot of times they're the middleman too. Like they have literally done nothing.
Your staff having a good staff person that is going to feel protected and heard and loved is going to give you way more bounty than one client, right? Yep. And sometimes like that conversation with that client, Brian, I apologize. Not good enough, Brian. Here's the origin of our villain story of Brian. But like there is a point where like sometimes that doesn't mean you're firing the client, but there is a conversation that your staff needs to know that happens. It's like you will not speak to my staff again. There's that warning, and it's respectful, But it's like, I'm going to set those boundaries. And if you're unwilling to comply with those boundaries, then we don't have anything further to do here. Right. So that's a huge
Agreed,
win for
100%.
huge win with your client. So one, there's just like boundaries. It is your responsibility for you and your staff to have those boundaries and have clear communications with what the expectations are with your client. The other thing I would say that I kind of alluded to first was, how do you know when it's time to fire a client? When the time doesn't make sense. So we kind of covered, they're a jerk. They're awful to work with. Nobody wants to work with them. Before I move on to the timing, I will also say, though, sometimes your most complicated client will also be your biggest advocate.
I was just going to say
So,
say
like,
that.
complicated doesn't mean bad, right?
For
So
sure.
Go ahead.
Well, when you think about time consuming, my mind was immediately going to two of my clients who are my most time consuming, but they also are so gracious, so kind, so appreciative, and they've sent me I don't know how many clients. So I will bend over backwards for them. Absolutely. No problem. It's the people who are time consuming and
then also awful. Yeah.
Or just call over silly I don't know what would be a silly thing, but it's just there's a difference, and I think you know in your gut when there's that difference.
Oh my gosh, how funny that I just said my last point was, you just know.
Yeah,
we're just so
you just know.
You just know. But there is a point of if all of your time, and again, they're not sending you referrals, they're not adding anything to your business, but you are finding yourself where the dollars and cents don't make sense. Dollars and cents don't make sense, girl. Who's she? She's a poet. It just doesn't make sense for you to continue to support that client. Maybe they're asking unreasonable things of you. You have to be your own judge of character. If they're just asking, if they call twice because they lost their Medicare, their Medicare supplement card twice, that's not a reason to fire a client. But just understanding, trust your gut. My husband, I'll tell you this was a horrible situation. As we know, my husband builds houses for a living. He's a contractor. He was with this one client that he didn't want to take on. He's been doing this since 2006. He's not new, but he's it's a house I'm really going to like doing. The clients are terrible though, but you know what? He calls himself a derogatory term for dollar bills, but anyways, he's I'm going to do it. So, long story short, couldn't make them happy. Unrealistic expectations. He sent everything was in writing. He did everything he could to protect his butt. Next thing he know, he's getting a certified letter. They're trying to sue him.
Oh gosh.
And literally, and they had once he was just okay, I'll lawyer up. They were asking for $20,000 extra to do their driveway, and they were going to sue him to do that. And he's I'll lawyer up. And the minute that he lawyered up, they're well, never mind.
Oh yeah.
So
sure.
Again, it's just there is a cost beyond just emotional of having a bad. So that's when when is it time? Why should you fire a client, right? Just kind of, you'll know it. Respect for yourself, respect for your staff. Does the dollar and cents no longer make sense? The next part I want to get into is how to fire a client. Because if you're like me, circa Olivia 2010 through 2012, before I met my husband, my way to get rid of people was just quit responding to them. They call that ghosting now. That wasn't called ghosting. That was called being a jerk whenever I was in college. But there is a sense of if I don't return their emails, I don't return their calls, they're asking for help, I just completely ignore them. I don't think that's the appropriate response to trying to fire these clients. What I recommend,
do you want me to tell you what I did?
You tell me
I
what
want
you
to
did.
know. I want you to judge me. I want you to tell me if I did it right.
You're asking me to judge?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
That's totally outside my wheelhouse.
Because this happened 2 years ago,
Okay.
and I still feel the ick about it.
Okay, tell me.
Even though I felt good and it was the right move, it's hard to do, you guys. It's so hard to do. Okay, so this client, gosh, I don't even know where to start, but let me quickly summarize. She and her husband became my clients, and the way she liked to communicate was by email, okay? Which was fine. I love that. However, she did not quite understand email. She put her whole email in the subject line. And so I would get 50 emails a day from her. Yeah. And she would
they treat it like a text.
But it would be half a sentence in this email. I'm I don't.
Yeah.
And so she would send so many a day. And the first the first 2 weeks of her being my client, we communicated every single day. So I knew like something was just going like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, just as bad news.
And she said I had poor communication is what she threw at me. And so I was just like, Nancy, she said I didn't answer one of her questions about dental. And I was like, probably because I had 118 messages from you in 1 week. And maybe I missed one because, you know. And so I told her, I was like, I really pride myself on having good communication with my clients. And I think that I have answered everything. I've communicated with you every day for 2 weeks. I think I have upheld my expectations for my communication. If I'm not living up to your expectations, then I think you need to use another agent.
Oh my God, Kari, I have almost word for word. I say,
really?
I don't think my services and like my value add is aligning with your expectations.
Yep. Awesome.
I think it's time that we find another solution for you. And then follow up with, here are some other options. Find your most hated competitor and give them their number. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But like having other options for them. But like, I know these people, these are other people in town that help with these types of services. I hope that you find or your expectations are better met there. But I love that my services and my value add is not aligning with your expectations. Because what I love about that one, it's not admitting fault. Because the minute that you give a crack of like, I messed up, I'm sorry, they're just gonna get in there and just leave.
Because I wanted her to know nothing was gonna change. Like if I'm talking to you every day, I can't communicate any better than that. So, like, I'm doing what I think is right.
Yeah. No,
if it's not jiving with you,
I think it's right. So
hit the road, Nancy.
Hit the road, Nancy. Get out of here, cat. Sorry. I keep looking at Alex, who I wish had a mic, and I still haven't gotten my wishes to come true. I would do Alex. I would talk. So no, I think you handle that the exact same way.
Awesome.
That the book of Richardson would suggest, which is just be very transparent, very upfront, not apologizing. You did nothing wrong. Don't give them that in, but just saying your expectations are not aligning with my services.
You said something in one of the very first cafe episodes that I did, and it has stuck with me for these 2 years about how not to apologize. And I was someone who did that. And I'm very cautious about when I apologize now.
Well, think about clients. I love that. I love that I'm the person that tells everybody to quit being
sorry.
It
was so good though.
Well, it's think about
because it's easy to just oh, I'm sorry.
Think about like this with the rule of I'm sorry is that like if a carrier, we know right now, we've talked about Cigna before, they're taking weeks to get.
They're great now.
Under a,
are they? Oh my gosh.
They're awesome. I've not heard that yet. That Cigna got it together and they're doing wonderful.
All the apps I've submitted, I probably submitted 4 in the last 2 weeks, almost same day. Processing.
Someone call John from Cigna and tell him whatever he's doing.
Like literally
write that down.
Same day.
Awesome. Well, pretend in my example that they're still being difficult. And if somebody's saying like, I still don't have this done. I still, like, why haven't I heard back? If you start saying, I am so sorry, then you're now taking blame for something you had nothing to do with. And now they're going to question, well, you're sorry. It's just in all this subconscious of, you put me on this plan. You did the right thing. You did the right thing by recommending it. They chose that plan. The minute you start saying sorry, you're taking responsibility for someone else's actions. Don't do it. The last thing I have on here is like, what's next, right? So we know who, we know why, and we know when to terminate those client relationships. We kind of know how, being very transparent and understanding, like, I've seen the results of that conversation go 2 very different ways. What is pretty consistent with that is that they always respond. Like, it's like if you send that off, like, they're going to have a response to that. Not always, but in my experience, and it's not a pleasant one.
Yeah.
So when you're working with the Karens and the Kevins of the world with the haircuts and just
number one, have that conversation on a recorded line.
Have that conversation on a recorded line. And then what's next is you got to prep yourself and expect retribution. Is that the right word? Backlash is what I meant, but retribution sounds fancy.
Just no, it's not going to feel good, and swallow that frog in the morning.
Feel good. It's very possible that they get on social media and slander your name. It's very possible. Like worst case scenario was that, right? It's a possibility. However, what I would recommend is what you do with that content what's really easy to do is if you see that they gave you a bad review or they see that they put something about you on social media, it's really easy to go on there and like try to defend yourself. But I will tell you, these people aren't like that exclusively with you. These people who are difficult to please, difficult to work with, they're like that in almost all facets of their life. So when people are seeing that on like social media, they know what to expect from those kind of people. And the worst thing you can do is go on there and like fight with somebody and engage in that conversation, because it makes you both look tacky. It makes you both look unprofessional, and that's not what you want to do. What I always say, if you do see that, especially on Google reviews, if somebody writes you a negative review, it's really easy again to go back and be like, that's not true, that's not what happened. Kill them with kindness. Companies that respond in a really positive manner, sorry that I'm sorry that you feel that you had that experience. I hate that you feel that you had that experience. We can kind of talk about things like that, but kill them with kindness. You will come out smelling like roses every single time. Don't engage. They're rage baiting you. So if you are going to engage, kill them with kindness.
Rage baiting. What a good. I've never heard that.
You've never heard of rage baiting?
No. Really? I have literally never heard that.
That's like
that is
it's kind of like a.
It's a global political term now.
It's a global political term now. I just kind of thought it was like I don't know, maybe a Gen Z, like a Gen Z term, but it's
something that's like LeBron is so bad at basketball.
Yeah, something that's absolutely ridiculous.
You get paid for it now. It's like grifting, right? You make a Twitter account and you say something controversial.
I'm sorry, I broke everything immediately.
It looks like a Clayton.
Guys, that is Medicare Cafe for today. What did we learn? How to break up with difficult people, what rage baiting means, and what else? Himalayan salt. How to tie square knot. Did you guys know I was
Don't overstay your sorry.
Don't say you're sorry too many times. This is called a box knot, and this is... All right. I'm going to break everything.
You're making me nervous.
Sorry. I'm nervous. I don't know why. I'm scared. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, also, that is my real phone number. Let me check to see if we have any text messages. That is my real number. You can text me if you're watching the recorded version of this. You can text me. I do have a text. Terry. Oh, Terry.
Oh, I thought you said Kari.
Terry. No, you're Kari.
Like what?
Terry and Kari. I've seen a lot of companies who AI phone systems stink. How about a good way to connect with people like financial advisors? Oh, what's a good way to connect with people like financial advisors?
To do what?
I'm sorry. There was two things in here. He was saying that AI a lot of times is bad at like phone trees and things like that. And yeah, I think we're at the beginning of AI. Lots to talk about. How to connect with people like financial advisors. I have such a year planned for you, Kari. I would love for a cafe episode.
Got a long list of ways to do that.
I think Kari is the queen of financial advisors for sure. Just they've made you the queen, but like strategic alliances of how to build meaningful relationships with people who can impact your bottom line, people who can impact your career. Kari is the queen of that. Would love to do some episodes about how that process goes, what expectations are, what follow-up looks like. So we're gonna do an AI episode with you because I just like to see you cringe, and then we're gonna
it'll be able to be good for me. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. I gotta get out of here. I got a doctor's appointment.
Go get healthy.
It's actually in like 15 minutes, and it's across town, so I gotta
You should go.
The doctor will be on time. Awesome. Love you guys. Until next, I'm sorry, I'm going to be more upbeat. I just don't want to go to the doctor. Until next time, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Thanks, y'all.
See ya.